What if I told you that thousands of travelers over 65 are making a massive mistake before they even step foot on a cruise ship? We spent months tracking down real solo cruisers, interviewing industry insiders, and uncovering the secrets that cruise lines absolutely do not want you to know. And what we found was shocking. Some people are having the absolute time of their lives out there on the open water, completely alone, completely free, and completely thriving. But others are losing thousands of dollars, feeling trapped, and coming home wishing they had never booked the trip at all. The difference between those two groups comes down to a handful of things that nobody is talking about. So today, we are pulling back the curtain on everything: the hidden fees, the solo-friendly ships, the cabin hacks, the port strategies, and the real unfiltered experiences from seniors who have already figured this out, so you do not have to learn the hard way. The point is that the single supplement is a real financial obstacle, but it is not an insurmountable one if you know where to look and what questions to ask. Most cruise lines price their cabins for 2 people. When you travel alone, many of them charge you anywhere from 75% to 100% extra on top of the base fare, essentially making you pay for a cabin built for 2, even though only 1 person is sleeping in it. That can double your vacation cost before you have even thought about excursions or specialty dining. However, here is what the industry does not advertise loudly enough. Several cruise lines have started offering solo cabins, smaller staterooms designed and priced specifically for 1 person. Norwegian Cruise Line has been a leader in this space with their studio cabins, which come with access to a dedicated solo lounge where you can meet other solo travelers. Virgin Voyages, Cunard, and a handful of others have followed with similar offerings. Learning to read those social cues and gravitating toward the open, curious people on board is a skill that develops quickly once you commit to the experience. Cruise ships are designed around couples and families. The dining arrangements, the shore excursion groupings, the evening entertainment seating, nearly all of it assumes you arrived with someone. When you show up alone, you can feel that assumption pressing against you at every turn. Formal dining nights can feel particularly isolating when you are seated at a table for 2 and the chair across from you stays empty all evening. The good news is that most cruise lines will seat solo travelers at larger communal tables if you request it, and those tables often become the most lively and interesting spots on the ship. The people you meet at a table for 8, each of them from different backgrounds and different corners of the world, can become the unexpected highlight of your entire trip. But you have to ask for it. You have to be willing to put yourself in social situations that feel slightly uncomfortable at first. Newer ships are significantly better designed for accessibility, and calling the cruise line directly to ask specific questions about your particular needs will give you far more useful information than anything you will find on a general booking website. Cruise ships have medical facilities on board, but they vary enormously in quality and capability. A minor illness or injury that would be a manageable inconvenience when traveling with a partner becomes a more complex situation when you are alone. Travel insurance is not optional at this stage of life. It is essential, and it needs to specifically cover medical evacuation, pre-existing conditions, and trip interruption. Read every line of that policy before you purchase it. Mobility is another conversation that the cruise industry tends to gloss over. Many older ships have uneven surfaces, high thresholds between cabin doors and balconies, and tender ports where you must transfer from the ship to a small boat to reach shore. If you use a cane, a walker, or a wheelchair, some of those tender ports will simply be inaccessible to you, and you will need to know that in advance rather than discover it while standing at the gangway, because the experience fundamentally shifted their relationship with independence and adventure. Going alone is often better than they expected, and sometimes it is better than traveling with a companion would have been. When you travel solo, your schedule belongs entirely to you. You eat when you want, sleep when you want, get off the ship at ports that interest you, and stay on board when they do not. There is no negotiating, no compromise, no managing another person's energy levels or preferences. That freedom, for many people, feels like a revelation. There is also something quietly powerful about proving to yourself that you can do it. That you can navigate a foreign port alone, that you can sit down at a dinner table full of strangers and walk away with 3 new friends, that you can handle whatever comes up without someone else to lean on. Tell us where you have been, where you are going, or simply where you are dreaming of next. If you have ever spent an entire evening researching river cruise itineraries just for the pleasure of imagining yourself there, if you keep a running list of ports you have not yet seen and feel a particular kind of restlessness when too many months pass without a new stamp in your passport, then you already know exactly who you are. Drop a comment below if travel is not just something you do occasionally, but something that lives in you, something that shapes how you see the world and how you want to spend whatever time you have left in it. The solo travelers over 65 who have found their rhythm on the water did not get there by accident. They got there because they refused to let age or circumstance or the absence of a companion become a reason to stay home. If that sounds like you, if you are the person who books the trip first and figures out the details later, who finds more comfort in a departure gate than in staying put,